John Michaels, he does mornings on 680 The Fan in Atlanta. Loves his Miami Hurricanes, as you know if you listen to this show. Grew up down here. There is so much going on in the world of NFL and college football. I wanted to get your thoughts on some stuff. So I'm going to start with the Dolphins. All right, John?
That'll work.
Do you give them any chance on Saturday night in KC?
Yes, a little bit. And the reason being, I think the weather actually, it's not going to help Miami, of course. I mean, nobody wants to live or play in minus 10-degree wind chill ever. But if the game, and it's really windy, comes down to, okay, both passing games end up being neutralized because the weather's so bad, ask yourself who can run the football better. And I trust Raheem Mostert, and I trust Jeff Wilson and Devon Achane. I trust those guys. I think the Miami offensive line is gotten to where they can move some people around, as we saw in the first half last week against Buffalo. I don't trust Isaiah Pacheco or Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Jerick McKinnon. And I just don't think Kansas City's built that way. I'd almost rather it be like 60-mile-an-hour winds where we have to run the football, and maybe our big defensive line, with Brandon Sealer and obviously Christian Wilkins can hold up. Outside of that, if the weather sets up where it gets into a shootout, I think the Dolphins are in trouble, and I think injuries are such a huge, huge part of it.
And John, with the losses this year, you got the Bills again, the Ravens, the Titans, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. 5 of those losses were to the playoff teams, and that's what the Dolphins get killed about. We're like, yeah, you can beat up the Jets, but the Jets are nothing because Zach Wilson's terrible, and we know what's going on. But like, does that make you question this team going into the playoffs with they have not beaten a playoff-worthy team all season?
Yeah, 100%, Channing. The narrative was out there for a long time in the early season, and I tried to downplay it. Like, whatever. You lost the game to the Eagles early. You lost on the road in Buffalo. The Dallas win, you were starting to think like, okay, maybe this is going to change the narrative. Last 2 weeks, you got your ass kicked. I mean, the Buffalo game, they went up and down the field, and even the staunchest Finn supporter would look and go, Josh Allen gave us a couple of gifts in the end zone. They got the great play by Wilkins with the strip sack recovery. You had the play at the end of the first half where you tackle them a half yard short of the end zone. If they get touchdowns on 2 of those drives, which most times they will, or they kick a couple of field goals and get a touchdown, that game's a blowout. I mean, the Dolphins have really no chance. I think that narrative's a real thing. And there's something about this team, and I've watched some of Hard Knocks, not all of it. They're a fun-loving bunch, and I don't want to knock them for that. To me, they also feel like a front-running bunch. They also feel like a group that when things are going perfect, they're trash-talking, they're end-zone dancing, they're doing all of those different things. But when adversity hits or they're in a really close game, which they've only been in a few times, it doesn't feel like they've got that intestinal fortitude, and I use an old Gordon Soley wrestling term there, to come up and get a victory. So, yeah, I think that narrative's real, and the only way you change that is January football. Win in Kansas City, nobody's going to give a damn that you lost to Philadelphia back in October.
But if you lose in Kansas City and you don't win a playoff game after this season, was the season a bust?
Absolutely. I don't buy into what Giannis Antetokounmpo said after the Milwaukee Bucks lost to the Heat in the opening round and talked about building blocks and there's no such things as failures. You have this team with this offense talking about leading passer in the NFL in Tua, leading touchdown on the ground in Raheem Mostert, leading receiver in Tyreek Hill, all the things you had on the defensive side of the ball, trading all the picks to go get pieces. You don't win a playoff game? I'm not saying Mike McDaniel should be fired, not at all, because I think the guy's a great coach. But my goodness, you go into the offseason and go, something has to change, and it would be an unmitigated disaster. And yes, I would call it a failure and a bust if you can't win at least one playoff game.
And John, do you think the retirement community that we signed this week in Bruce Irvin and Justin Houston, like, do you really? And I understand that Jalen Phillips is out, and then now we watched Melvin Ingram cover a tight end in the Buffalo game, which was just ridiculous. But do you think that Bruce Irvin, Justin Houston, do you think these old ass dudes that I played with and I've been retired 13 years, do you think they make an impact?
Yeah, an impact for Kansas City. There's a reason Justin Houston hadn't been signed anywhere. I mean, there are pass rush starved teams around the National Football League. Guys sit on the couch when they can no longer play. Channing, I'm going to be real. You could have covered Dalton Kincaid right now, fresh out the radio chair, better than Melvin Ingram could cover him down the field. And Vic Fangio should have been punched in the cods for even setting up a defense where Melvin Ingram is dropping into coverage at any point in time. It's going to be tough to generate pass rush. And this is where you almost want Josh Boyer back, where you say, fine, we'll go zero coverage and send 7 people, because you got to do something to affect Patrick Mahomes. If he can sit back there and have a sandwich, I don't give a damn if we're playing in a tornado. He's going to be able to go out there and throw the football and find some open players. I hate it. I mean, that's the part that frustrates me as a Finn fan. Bradley Chubb was having a great year. Jalen Phillips was having a really good year. Andrew Van Ginkel had earned himself a big old payday with the way that he played. And now to go into the most important game of the year, and none of them are going to play football this week. Justin Houston, go find the Fountain of Youth. Go find something. Find the DeLorean that Marty McFly drove in, and see if you could turn back the clock 10 years and we could get some of what you used to be able to do.
One of the things I love about John Michaels, he is a passionate fan. I like passionate fans. He's a passionate Hurricanes fan. He will do anything for his Miami Hurricanes. The wind chill is going to be minus 30 degrees Saturday night in Kansas City. Would you subject yourself to sitting outside rooting on your favorite team in a playoff game, but it means sitting outside in the conditions that they're going to see Saturday night?
I am now what they like to call a bougie-ass fan. The answer is not only no, but hell no. And I'll tell you why. When I did radio for the Falcons 2 years in a row, we got the lucky draw of the NFL sending us to Green Bay in December. The first game I was there, kickoff, it was minus 7 degrees. Now, for the first quarter, it was awesome. I'm a South Florida kid, and I'm living a dream. I'm walking around Lambeau Field, and I was layered up. I literally looked like I was about to rob a liquor store. Multiple ski masks. I had parkas. I had boots. I could have tucked a shotgun underneath everything that I had on there. But by the middle of the second quarter, I couldn't feel my feet. I couldn't feel my hands. My eyes hurt. The snot on my face was now sticking to the ski mask. So now I've got snot plastered to the front of my face. Me and Asante Samuel was now a bench player for the Falcons. I'm not supposed to, there's that yellow line that is where the media and the photographers are not supposed to cross. I didn't give a damn. I had to get where that heater was. And me and Asante Samuel became way too close for comfort because I needed heat. They had no soup. In the fourth quarter, my equipment froze. Literally my broadcast box and microphone froze up. And thank goodness Wes Durham and Dave Archer, God bless both of them. They go, John, there's nothing else you can do down there. Please come upstairs. And I just wanted to bundle up somewhere. So I love the Canes. Maybe if they're playing for a national title, even then, no. I got to find a box to sit in. I need some Mark Hochman money. I don't know what I could do, but I ain't sitting in minus 10.
Listen, Mark Hochman would switch scenarios with you in a second. I would love to cuddle with Asante Samuel, watch a football game. Sounds delightful. Hey, let me ask you, because we're going to run out of time. What's more seismic? Bill Belichick no longer being coach of the Patriots, or Nick Saban no longer being coach of Alabama?
It's Nick Saban, and I don't think it's particularly close. Bill Belichick, we've sort of seen the writing on the wall. Tom Brady being gone has sort of exposed that maybe he wasn't as genius as we thought he was. Nick Saban was just in a playoff game and lost in overtime. And you're going to the thing with the Nick Saban deal, it's not only going to be him leaving Alabama, it's going to be who leaves their job to replace him, and then who leaves that job to replace the guy that had to replace Nick Saban. There's going to be a domino effect in college football that's going to be felt. For Mario Cristobal, and I'll tie anything back to Miami, now you can close South Florida even more because Nick Saban's not coming down there with his damn 3-finger handshake trying to pillage and plunder all of the great high school recruits out of South Florida.
And I even said, we were talking about it earlier, John, where I don't think Nick Saban's done. I don't think he goes back into head coaching, but he's going to be a consultant somewhere. He's going to coach somewhere else. I really think Nick Saban is going to get back into it. But Belichick, and you're up in Atlanta, John, Atlanta's job is open. Is Belichick a coveted head coach right now, being in Atlanta and seeing that there is a vacancy there?
Yeah, I think for the Atlanta brass, the answer is yes. I did a Twitter poll on our show today, and 80% of Falcon fans said no. they want no parts of Bill Belichick. Now, would he make the Falcons better? I think so, because they've got young talent that has not been used right, and they would probably go find a way to trade for a quarterback, whether it's Russell Wilson, sign one in Kirk Cousins, maybe sign one like Kirk Cousins, and then draft the replacement as well. And I think Belichick in this terrible division gets them into the playoffs. I just don't know if I want to hire a coach who's 71 years old, about to be 72, and then 3 years from now or 4 years from now be going through the exact same thing. I'd like to find one of these young guys, although that's kind of a crapshoot, to figure out which young guy actually can be a good coach on that way.
Where did that music come from? Are you
I have
playing?
no idea.
Are you playing John Michaels off, Solana?
I'm not. That surprised me as well. John, I would never.
So what happened? Did you make a mistake?
I thought it was like Showtime at the Apollo, and the guy.
That's what I thought.
Like,
what happened there, Solana?
I just had a random CBS Sports page open, and it just started firing off an ad. So I apologize, John.
I got you. All right. I'm just curious. I was curious if you say I made a mistake, or if there was going to be
never
explanation that was obviously a mistake, but you trying to explain it away. But so you had a pot open that shouldn't have been making any noise, so it's not really on you.
No, this is definitely not on me.
All right.
The pot has to be open for Crowder, but I just had a random CBS ad on, and it fired off.
CBS's fault.
Wait a second. So the pot was open, and then the CBS ad fired off. How were you able to get rid of the CBS ad but not Crowder?
Because I just exited out of the article that
feels like maybe this was your fault, that you fired off something.
No, I had a CBS article open about the Dolphins.
Okay,
and an
so
ad
I
fired off.
got you. So you opened a window on your computer that shares the same pot with Crowder.
Correct.
And you didn't have your computer muted, and you allowed an ad while we're doing the conversation with John Michaels. You were scrolling the internet looking for what? Vacation spots?
Definitely not tickets to Kansas City, John. I can tell you that.
No, well, it's good because while he was doing scrolling, Mark, I was doing scrolling as well, and I was looking. This is for Channing. I ran into Ronnie Brown at Michael Harris's celebrity baseball tournament, celebrity bowling event about a month ago. And talking to Ronnie, I know he had played with you. And I said, "Oh, are you good friends with Channing?" He goes, "Oh, that's my boy." I said, "I go on with Hawk and Crowder all the time." And he said, "The next time you're on there, ask Channing about the brown bathing suit." So we got to get to the bottom of something with a brown bathing suit.
Ronnie is not worth a damn.
Fire up that sound again, Solana. I don't think that we want to hear this story on the air.
I will tell you the brown bathing suit story because Ronnie threw me. So we used to, me and Ronnie are like, we're tight. We got drafted together. That's my ace, my homeboy. He's come on the show a number of times. We're actually, he came down recently. He was at the house, and his kids, my son and his son, are a year apart. Like, our families just love each other. But back in the day when we were younger and we went to Vegas with Joey Porter, or it might have been before that, we went to Vegas, and let's say I might have been a bit inebriated, but we went to one of these day parties at one of those, the Hard Rock had that big day party, and all the DJs went. So I got a woman, a girl, and I thought she was bad because the Hennessy I had Hennessy goggles on. And so me and this girl with this brown bathing suit were together all day. Like, then me and Ronnie met up after the party. We went and got washed, went and washed and got ready to party that night. And Ronnie kept telling me, he's like, "Bro, you hanging out with the brown bathing suit girl?" And I was like,
"You're like shallow hell."
And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yeah, man." She said she gonna meet us at the club. And Ronnie's looking at me like, "Why is she meeting us at the club?" And I was like, "No, man, that's my girl, man. You know what I'm saying? I got me one. I found me one.
You're just jealous."
Yeah, Ronnie was jealous of me because I found me a bad one. And then I sobered up throughout the day. And then we went to the club that night. And then a girl walked up to our section. She was like, "Hey, Channing," and I kind of waved at her like, "Hey, how you doing? Good. How you doing? Yeah, go Dolphins." And she was like, "No, it's Melissa." And I was like, "Melissa who?"
Wait, this is like Friday? Like this is Janet Jackson?
This is Janet Jackson. So once I got about a half a
more like
gallon,
Freddie Jackson.
I was saying, I thought I had Janet, and then in the club, Freddie walked up, Hawk, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? Go Dolphins!" And then
great.
Ronnie thinks it's the funniest thing in the world that now when I saw her without my goggles on, I was like, you can't come up here. No, you
like Chris
good.
Tucker.
You can't come up here. Yeah, that was the brown bathing suit, and yes, she was a strong 1.1 out of 10.
Oh, the best part is he said, "Go Dolphins."
Wrong one.
She was a strong one.
Oh, that was worse. Solana firing the commercial or the ad, so I could find the story that I was looking for.
She was a Miami 1, but she was a Des Moines 3. All right, John Michaels, 680 The Fan in Atlanta. I'm on Twitter, John Michaels U. Thank you as always, John.
All right, thanks, guys.
There you go, John Michaels. What a delightful story that was. I thought Ronnie Brown was going to tell you about the bowling, the one, what was it, the 7-10 split story. Well, that was an even better story, the brown bathing suit story.
Ronnie ain't worth a damn.
Love that. That's an excellent story. All right. Seismic changes in the world of football with Saban and Belichick being gone. We will continue on